Nation of Fit and 10, welcome to day 49. 21 days to go, 70% through the challenge. Third round of scans wrapped up today. Overall, a great job. Reminder that this challenge is all about progression and hopefully, most importantly, beyond these 70 days, it will be something that you will continue to institute into your life. Maybe not to the degree that we're doing it in this challenge, but to at least a large degree, the principles of it. Coming back to progression on this point, focus on the areas that you're not wholeheartedly fulfilling. For example, your diet. I know I've talked about this, but I'll say it again. If you're not getting all your protein in per day, let's work on that. If you're going over calories, let's try to just stick within those macros, exactly where they're supposed to be. If you're not measuring all your food, if you're not consistent every day, and I'm going to just say one thing here. I don't think that a lot of you, and this may not apply to you, so I apologize, but it's amazing. And believe me, I've been guilty of this before in other aspects of my life. I don't think people really understand when I say, you need to account for everything, exactly what it is. This makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. And this is all part of being consistent. I think there are some of you, perhaps, I know there's some of you that don't appreciate this, or at least appreciate to the point where it's like, yeah, I'm doing that, but I actually look at what you're doing and you're not doing that. But in your mind, you're like, I'm doing it. But I'm like, no, you're not. And you're saying, yes, you are. But you're not. Okay? You have to do exactly what I'm telling you to do, and it will make the difference. Believe me, like tracking all your food. Work on areas that you can progress upon, and you'll see that you will improve that much more, especially if you're stuck. Well, I don't think anybody's really stuck in this challenge, but if you're really lacking in your scan-to-scan improvements. Questions here, let's get into it. Some great questions. This person writes, I saw powdered peanut butter at Costco for the first time. Is it any good? Yeah, I saw this too. I saw this last time I was at Costco, last week I think I was there. Pretty impressed. I've used this product before. It's a product called PB&Me. Basically what this product is it's peanuts in a powdered form with the oil extracted out of it, or most of the oil. Still has some fat, but only a little bit. And per tablespoon, it's only 23 calories. So you get the taste of peanut or peanut butter. You get that taste, almost, when you put it in your smoothies. It's not entirely the same. I've made a peanut butter paste with it before, trying to make peanut butter. This is when I was dieting. Doesn't taste quite the same, of course. It never does. Because part of that peanut flavor, or part of that peanut, when it comes to peanut butter, part of that flavoring and texture is the fat in it. But when it comes to shakes or perhaps recipes, putting in this peanut butter powder can really add a lot of peanut flavor without the added fat calories. Another question. Liposuction and surgical fat removal. Tummy tuck. If fat is removed, does your BMI go down? Yes, your BMI goes down, but I don't think that's what you're asking me. I think you're asking BMR. BMI is a ratio of your height, your body weight to height. It's a body weight to height ratio. So if your overall mass, if your weight, so if you're moving fat, your weight's going to go down, assuming everything else stays the same. If you pull off some mass off your body, you're going to weigh less, your BMI is going to go down. Okay, your body mass index. But maybe what you're asking me is your BMR, because this is another interesting question. And the answer to this is yes. How much? I don't know exactly. I don't know what the calorie consumption is of fat. And within that, there's different types of fat in the human body. Like we've got white blood cells, we've got white fat cells, beige fat cells, and brown fat cells. And they have different functions. Next part of this question, what happens to the skin when doing liposuction? Does it shrink back? Do the remaining fat cells have more space to become larger? Okay, in terms of what they do with your skin, I don't know. That would be more of a surgical question. I have no idea. I would say though that when you get liposuction done, they're going to try to make it look as best as possible. So it's not like, for example, if you're somebody who's super overweight and you lose a ton of body fat and you've got this extra skin, it's not going to be like that if you have liposuction. I mean, they would just remove the skin. But again, I'm not a plastic surgeon, so I don't exactly know. But I'm pretty sure they would do that. They wouldn't leave the skin there. Is there, okay, so sorry, second part of this question, do the remaining fat cells have more space to become larger? No, I wouldn't say they have more space to become larger. Fat cells can always become larger, of course. And fat cells can split apart into more fat cells, especially if they become big enough. If you have tummy tuck where the fat and the skin are removed, would this not be a better option as you have removed the excess skin as well? Sorry, what does it say again? If you have a tummy tuck where the fat and skin are removed. Yes, okay, so yeah, I'm sure they do remove the skin. Coming back to fat cell removal, if we're removing fat tissue, we're removing fat cells. Remember something here though. Fat cells have function in the body beyond just acting as insulation. And in fact, we're learning more and more about what fat cells do in the body. There's still some stuff we don't understand. Fat cells, and I won't get into the details too much here, but fat cells help release things. There's certain hormones that fat cells release. Fat cells communicate with your immune system. Fat cells help regulate your hunger. Fat cells help regulate insulin production and insulin sensitivity. They have roles in the body. It's almost akin to removing some other organ in your body, because these cells really act as organs. So I would never ever recommend removing fat cells. Just shrink them, and this is of course what you're doing in the challenge. You're shrinking fat cells. You're essentially removing some of the triglyceride storage from the cells. All right, 8 minutes in, let's get the message of the day here quickly. There's more questions that I will get to tomorrow, perhaps. Message of the day on this day 49. Results speak for themselves. Results are a reflection of what you're doing. Okay, unless perhaps you have some sort of medical issue. I do know somebody in this challenge who has some sort of medical issue. There can be certain factors that play a part or play a role in your results, but for the most part, with 99% of the population, your results will speak for themselves. If you're not getting the results, you've got to go back and look at what you're doing. You've got to, or maybe you already know the areas that you're lagging in. And so make sure you pay attention to these. But make sure, most importantly, that you are honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. And in particular, pay attention to the specifics of this challenge, because they will make a difference. You still have 3 weeks, and yes, you can still maybe not make a massive change, but you can still make really good change in this. You can still make really good change in 3 weeks. 3 weeks is almost 1/3 of this challenge. 1/3, that's a huge chunk. That's a scan to scan period. And a reminder too, your scans aren't going to happen until after the challenge ends. So we've got 21 plus days. Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, and for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.